once again, gentlemen. Week 2, another big week. Unfortunately not for me, but for some of you out there it was. Figured I'd wear my Rams jersey since my running back needs some encouragement. Hopefully he'll be back next week, so I think I have Box coming up this weekend for week 3, so hopefully for my sake and not yours, Steven Jackson will be healthy next week. Otherwise, I'm going to try to keep this real short. I hope you guys like my little montage I put together here. I'll try to keep it up going on for the next couple weeks. Enjoy. Starting off, it's me and Zach. Looking at it here, this is the first touchdown I had in the early going with Sproles getting to the outside, just barely getting in. I think he got away with one maybe a little bit, but that heel is up off the ground, so I think that's why they didn't count it, or they did count it. As for Zach's running back, he had Jamal Charles going, but slipping on the pylon there on the yardstick, ended up tearing his ACL, and he's out for the year, which is not going to look good. So him and LT kind of washed, not getting many points. Zach had Sanchez going. He threw a nice touchdown pass there to Santonio Holmes, and ended up throwing another nice one here to Dustin Keller, who I didn't start and regretting it. Otherwise, it was an even battle between the defenses. The Jets managed to get a safety and a couple interceptions, and this one they almost brought back to the house. But the Detroit defense got a whole bunch of turnovers against Matt Castle. I think they picked him off about 4 times, and there was about 3 fumble recovers they had. Otherwise, it was a nice battle between the wide receivers, between Vincent Jackson here scoring, and Miles Austin here getting one from Kitna in the corner of the end zone. Between the two, I think they scored about 5 touchdowns, and they both put up 46 points, and that's a nice one there to Vincent Jackson. And Austin had a big long one. He also had a real nice acrobatic one, which you'll see later on in Mike's highlights looking at Romo. But I was down about 30 going into the Sunday night game and thought I had a chance with Vic and Julio Jones. Here you see Macklin getting in and scoring on a touchdown. But it all came down to this hit with his teammate in the head and knocked him out with a concussion, spitting up blood, and I ended up losing by 4.
Oh, what a loser!
Here's Dave and Sean's matchup, and I see a lot of zeros on Sean's side, and those are about as good a decision as milk is.
Milk was a bad choice.
We're going to start with Sean's team, and with Rivers, who's never beaten the Patriots, and this is not going to help. Can't help watching those big men run. I just love it. Look at that belly. Just love the slow-mo. And as you can tell, Sean was not too happy.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
But at least he got Arian Foster back, but that was the extent of his play. Luckily, he's got Hillis, who is just a big stud. He had a huge day on Sunday with 2 touchdowns. Here you can see the first one, and then this long one is unbelievable. Too bad the Colts defense is just terrible. Let's see what we got coming up next. Oh, it's Ray Rice for David. He, once again, could be probably the best back this year. He is unbelievable. Once again, with a nice long screen pass. I'm sure whoever had Flacco would be happy. Dave also had Ryan going with this unbelievable throw and catch to Gonzalez, which, if you look at the slow-mo, I can't believe he managed to catch that and get both feet down. But that's why he's going to the Hall of Fame. Otherwise, Ryan kept slinging the rock around. Here, nice little pass to Gonzalez again. He also had McCoy, who had a big game, and a couple touchdowns. Here's the one off to the right side, and then he does his little dance. And here's the one in the third quarter. Manages to get in. And Dave manages to win. And we all know his favorite little saying. Up next, Nick and Gordo. Here's the stats from their game. Breeze had a great game. Here's a deep ball to Devery Henderson. He put up a bunch of points today. We'll see his next TD here in a sec. Nice little short pattern for a score. And now we get the NFL breakdown of Matt Forte.
Leading 10-3. Matt Forte carried the load offensively for the Bears in the first half. 1:57 left. 3rd and 9, Kettler to Forte, 15-yard pickup.
This is all they really could do.
Exactly.
Jake completed 19 passes, 10 of them to Forte, because he didn't have enough time to set his
There we
feet
go.
and push it downfield.
And that's the whole point about this is what your offense is reduced to because.
Oh, I love Tom Waddle and his breakdown. Forte had a huge day. I think he's going to be the catalyst of the Bears' offense because the receivers aren't very good. Otherwise, Gordo had LeGarrette Blount going, who just managed to tear up the Vikings in the second half. I don't know how happy you were. That's a great little leap there over Cedric Griffin. Here's his second TD near the end of the game for the win. It's a little heartbreaking. But luckily for Nick, he had AP going, who had a big day with 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's just running over people. I love the way he runs. Unfortunately, the Vikings did not get him a win today, or on Sunday. But he still looked good. That's right. As for the rest, he had Jones-Drew for Nick, who had a pretty good game. He had 20 points, which pretty not too bad when you have 60 points from running backs. Also, Mike Wallace had a huge day, as you see there. All Nick could say about Gordy's team was that they were a bunch of
Bitches.
All right, coming up, we got Kevin and John, and we got Aaron Rodgers had a pretty decent day throwing it around. This one to Jermichael Finley, who got me a few points. But Rodgers still kept slinging the ball. Here he's got a deep bomb to Greg Jennings. This one just looks pretty. Almost as good as Drew Brees', but still 7 points. And he kept going. This one to Jordy Nelson for the nice little, lot of yak on this one, the yards after the catch. He is gone. So Kevin, he put up some decent points, and McFadden had a great day. Here we'll see a bunch of his touchdowns. This one powering in against the Bills for the first one. This one, nice little toss out to the end, a wheel route, gets in for the touchdown. Unfortunately, though, the best highlight I could find for Deshaun Jackson was this one. He did not have a very good day. I wish he could have had more with Vic, but at least there's a nice tackle on Ray Edwards there. Otherwise, Brady for John had a huge day. I only could get this one to Rob Gronkowski. Was one of many touchdowns. He put up 54 points. Otherwise, he had Michael Turner, who had a huge game to finish off the Eagles on Sunday night. And he had 34 points, so it looked pretty good. Here's his second touchdown of the night, I believe. And as for John, the newbie of the league, and all that he can say right now is that
I'm just living the dream.
All right, finally, we got Mike and Eric going. Starting off, looking at Eric's team with Matthew Stafford, threw a bunch of TDs. That one to Calvin Johnson. Here's another one of his 4. Down the middle to, I believe that's Pettigrew. And another short one to Calvin Johnson. So things were looking good for Eric. He had a good quality quarterback play. Also had Andre Johnson going. Here's a nice throw and catch with Schaub. He had a big day, scoring 24 points for Eric. Otherwise, he had, I love the new other tight end that they got for the Patriots in Hernandez. There's a nice touchdown. Looking at Mike's team, there's the hit that knocked Romo out of the game. He fractured a rib and ended up puncturing his lung. Went out of the game, came back in, and here's a nice one of his 3 touchdown passes to Miles Austin, which didn't help me out at all. Look at this. Gets his hand down and extends out to the goal line. What a nice play. Here, the game winner, the pass to Hawley for 77 yards down to the 1, ended up with setting up a game-winning field goal. Otherwise, Mike had Larry Fitzgerald, who had a really big day. Here's a nice long touchdown pass. He had 133 yards in this touchdown. Otherwise, he ended up winning the game with Bradshaw, and I think he told Eric a nice little joke.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face?
What?
Slap!
All right, there you have it. The Week 2 highlights concluded. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, Zach, I forgot to throw in a little Boom Goes Dynamite. I'll do that for you next week. And my final word is, if you have anything to say,
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.